You ever sit in your room and think, why does it feel like I'm being left behind? You scroll through your phone and everyone's getting engaged, getting jobs, starting families. And you're just waiting. Waiting for something to finally go right. Waiting for your prayers to be answered. Waiting for a moment that changes everything. But all you hear is silence, and all you feel is pain. And you start wondering, did Allah forget me? Let me tell you something that could change everything. The delay, the silence, the pain. It's not what you think. And when you find out what it really means, you'll stop questioning the process and start seeing the purpose. 1. You're not falling behind. You're being pulled away from what would have broken you. You look around and it feels like everyone's ahead of you. One friend just got engaged. Another one just had their first baby. That one classmate who barely studied. He's got a high-paying job and a big smile on his face. And you're still stuck, still waiting, still trying to figure it all out. And in the silence of your room, a voice whispers in your head, look at you, you're falling behind. Everyone's moving forward except you. Maybe something's wrong with you. And slowly, you start to believe it. You start to feel like a failure, like maybe Allah has forgotten about you, like maybe you're not chosen for anything special. But what you don't see, what no one tells you, is this. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not being punished. You're being protected. Allah saw something ahead that you didn't. That relationship you were crying for, it would have broken you. That job you begged for, it would have pulled you away from Him. That path you wanted so badly, it looked like a blessing, but it was a trap in disguise. You were never being left behind. You were being pulled away, gently, from something that would have crushed your soul. Because sometimes success comes with a cost. And Allah knew you weren't meant to pay that price. He knew your heart. He knew your capacity. And He loved you enough to not give you what would destroy your peace. Yes, it's hard to see people celebrating while you're still struggling. Yes, it hurts to clap for others when your hands feel empty. But behind the scenes, Allah is rerouting your life. He's clearing paths you didn't even know were dangerous. He's delaying your plans, not to break your heart, but to save it. And one day, when you've healed, when your soul is strong enough to receive what's truly meant for you, it will come, not rushed, not messy, not halfway, but complete and pure, and worth every tear you cried for it. So don't compare your journey to theirs. You're not late, you're not behind. You're just being prepared for something that fits your soul, not your timeline. And when it finally arrives, you'll look back at this waiting season and say, Ya Allah, thank you for not giving me what I thought I wanted. Thank you for the delay that saved me. Because the truth is, you were never falling behind. You were being pulled out of danger and into something only Allah could see. 2. You keep waiting for a sign, but what if you are the sign? You keep asking Allah for a sign, something, anything, a dream, a message, a feeling, just one small sign that your pain means something, that your patience isn't being wasted, that your life is still going somewhere. And every day you wait, you pray, you look at the sky, scroll through reminders, watch videos like this one, hoping one of them will suddenly feel like it was made just for you. But maybe you've been looking in the wrong place. Maybe the sign you've been searching for is you. Think about it. You're still standing, Even after everything that tried to break you, you're still here, still praying, still hoping, still trying, even with the anxiety, even with the heartbreak, even with all the silence. Do you know how powerful that is? You keep waiting for something big and obvious, but Allah has already placed the sign inside you. Your restlessness? That's not random. Your pain? That's not a mistake. Your tears in the middle of the night? That's not weakness. That's your soul calling out. That's your heart waking up. That's Allah moving you from the inside before He changes anything on the outside. You've been asking Allah to give you a purpose. But maybe your pain is the purpose. Maybe what you're going through is what someone else will need one day. Maybe your story is going to save someone else later, when they're where you are now. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to feel strong all the time. You just have to keep going. Because people like you, the ones who feel deeply, who break but don't lose their faith, who cry but still whisper, Alhamdulillah, they are the sign. You're a living reminder that life can be hard and still be beautiful, that healing is slow but real, that Allah doesn't need loud miracles. Sometimes He uses silent strength. So maybe today, instead of asking, Ya Allah, where is my sign? You can say, Ya Allah, make me a sign. Make me someone who gives hope just by existing. Make me someone who turns pain into patience. Make me someone who carries light, even when life feels dark, because you never know who's watching you, who's drawing strength from your story, who's holding on because they saw you didn't give up. That feeling inside of you, the one that keeps saying, don't quit. That's not just emotion. That's a whisper from Allah. I'm still with you. Keep walking. So stop waiting for something magical to appear in the sky. You don't need fireworks. You just need to believe that everything you've survived is proof. Proof that you matter. Proof that you're being guided. Proof that you already are the sign you've been waiting for. 3. The ones you loved the most were only sent to wake you up. They came into your life so suddenly, like a gift. At first, it felt like a blessing you never saw coming. They made you feel seen, heard, chosen, and for a while, you actually believed this might be the one. You smiled differently when they were around. You stayed up late thinking about your future with them. You made du'as, long ones, asking Allah to keep them in your life. You even started dreaming in their direction. But then, they left. Maybe they drifted away without saying a word. Maybe they changed. Maybe they found someone else. Or maybe you were the only one who was truly invested all along. And suddenly, the very person who brought you so much joy became the source of your deepest pain. And you're left there, confused, hurt, embarrassed, and angry with yourself. You keep asking, why would Allah let me love someone who wasn't meant to stay? Why did I feel peace with them if they were going to leave anyway? Why does it hurt this much? But listen closely, because what you're feeling isn't just heartbreak, it's an awakening. They weren't sent to be your forever. They were sent to wake you up. You see, Allah sometimes places someone in your life, not to complete you, but to crack you open, to break the walls around your heart, to show you what you've been ignoring, to bring your attention back to Him, the one who never leaves. That person who broke your heart, they were just the mirror. They revealed parts of you that you needed to face. Your fears, your attachments, your need for validation, your hidden pain. And even though their absence hurts like nothing else, it's also the start of something sacred. Because when they left, you finally started turning inward. You finally started asking real questions. You finally started reaching out to Allah, not out of routine, but out of desperation. And in that desperation, something beautiful began. You found a closeness to Allah you never had before. You discovered parts of your strength that were hidden under your need for someone else. That's not just pain, that's transformation. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the same ones who brought you back to yourself, back to your soul, back to your Rab. So don't hate the story, don't curse the chapter. Yes, they left, but they also left behind a version of you that knows better now. You know how to guard your heart. You know how to turn to Allah first, not last. You know that peace isn't found in a person, it's found in sujood, when no one sees you cry but Him. Maybe they were your test, maybe they were your turning point, but they were never your final destination. And one day, when love does come again, in the right time, in the right way, with the right soul, you'll be ready. Not because they completed you, but because Allah healed you. So if you're still aching over someone who left, please understand this. They didn't leave to destroy you. They left to redirect you. And maybe, just maybe, that was the most loving thing Allah ever did for you. 4. You keep getting tested repeatedly because there's something rare inside you. You've probably asked it 100 times by now. Why does it keep happening to me? Why does it feel like the moment I catch my breath, something else falls apart? Why do my tests never stop? It's not that you're ungrateful. It's not that you're impatient. It's just you're tired, so tired. Tired of pretending to be okay. Tired of being the strong one. Tired of life constantly testing the parts of you that already feel fragile. And deep down, a quiet thought starts to form. Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe Allah is angry with me. Maybe I'm just not meant for ease. But can I tell you something that might change the way you see everything? What if these tests aren't a sign of rejection, but a sign of elevation? You see, ordinary souls, they're not tested like this. Because ordinary souls aren't being prepared for something extraordinary. When Allah loves a person, He tests them again and again. Not to punish them, but to purify them, to strengthen them, to remove the layers of weakness, ego, and false attachments that are holding them back from becoming who they're meant to be. It's not that you're being broken, it's that you're being refined, like gold placed in fire, not to destroy it, but to make it shine. Your pain has a purpose. Your tears are being counted. Your silent prayers, the ones you whisper when no one's around, they're reaching the skies. But because you're rare, your journey is different. He's not preparing you for something small. He's preparing you for something sacred. That's why it hurts so much. That's why the tests don't come once. They come in waves. Because what He's building inside you needs deep roots. And deep roots are only formed through struggle. You don't realize it yet, but every hardship has been shaping your character. Every heartbreak has been softening your heart. Every delay has been stretching your patience. Every loss has been detaching you from this world and turning you toward Him. You're not being forgotten. You're not being overlooked. You're being chosen. Chosen to carry something that others can't. Chosen to walk a path that leads to more than just this dunya. Chosen to inspire others, not through your words, but through your resilience. Because people like you, The ones who still believe after everything falls apart. The ones who get up again, even when they're full of bruises. The ones who still say, Alhamdulillah, while wiping their tears. They're the ones Allah raises. They're the ones He uses for something greater. So don't compare your life to others who seem to have it easy. You're not walking the same road. Your path is heavier because your destination is higher. And I know, it's exhausting. You want peace. You want ease. You want something to finally go right. And it will. But maybe not all at once. Maybe not in the way you imagined, but in a way that's better than you could ever plan. So next time life tests you again, and you feel like saying, "Why me?" say this instead. Ya Allah, I don't understand it, but I trust you. If this pain is the price of what you're preparing me for, then I'll keep going. Just never let go of me. Because the truth is, you keep getting tested, not because you're weak, but because there's something rare inside you, and rare things are never made easily. 5. The silence isn't a void. It's where Allah is building your strength in secret. You keep praying, over and over, sometimes with words, sometimes with just tears, and you wait. You wait for some kind of sign, some response, some shift in your life that tells you, Allah heard you, something is changing, but nothing comes. No sign, no dream, no sudden relief, just silence. And that silence, it starts to feel heavier than pain, because it makes you wonder, is Allah listening to me? Did my dua even reach Him? Why is He so quiet when I need Him the most? And that quietness starts to feel like emptiness, and that emptiness starts to feel like loneliness. And eventually, your faith starts to whisper, maybe you're not worth a response. But pause and breathe for a moment, because I need you to hear this. The silence is not a sign that Allah is ignoring you. It's not proof that your prayers were rejected. It's not the absence of mercy. It's not punishment. The silence is where He's working on you, in secret. You may not see anything changing on the outside, but inside you, something is being built. Quietly, gently, powerfully. In that silence, your heart is being trained to trust Him without answers. In that silence, your soul is learning how to walk without seeing the road. In that silence, your relationship with Allah is shifting from needing to understand to simply needing to believe. Because real strength, it's built in private. Real trust, it grows in the quiet. And real transformation, it doesn't always make noise. Just think about it. Did a seed ever bloom with sound, number? It grows silently, under the ground, while the world thinks nothing is happening, until one day it breaks through the soil, and it's beautiful. That's you right now. You're in the soil season, hidden, unseen, in the dark, but not unloved, not forgotten, not stuck. You're being prepared, rooted, strengthened, because what's coming requires a version of you that this world hasn't seen yet. So don't let the silence fool you. This is not the end of your story. It's the middle of your becoming. And if you listen closely, you'll realize the silence is not actually empty. It's full of His mercy, His protection, His plans, His perfect timing. Maybe you don't hear Him, but He hears you. He always did, from the very first tear, from the very first whisper of your dua, even from the things you couldn't put into words. The silence isn't ignoring you. It's inviting you to lean into your faith, to build strength that doesn't need signs, to become someone who trusts, even when there's no visible reason to. Because when that silence finally breaks, when that moment arrives, the one you've been waiting for, you'll understand why it took so long. You'll realize Allah wasn't being silent to distance you. He was being silent to bring you closer. So if you're in that space right now, where everything is quiet and you feel forgotten, know this with all your heart. He's building something in you, something no one can take away. And when it's ready, the world will see a version of you that only the silence could have shaped. 6. Your pain feels endless, but that's because the lesson is eternal. Sometimes, the pain feels like it's never going to end. It wakes you up. It follows you through the day. It whispers in your mind when you're trying to sleep. And no matter how hard you try to distract yourself, it finds you again. You've cried about it, prayed about it, begged Allah to remove it, but it's still here. And slowly you start to think, what am I doing wrong? Why won't this go away? Why does healing feel like it's so far away? And maybe you don't say it out loud, but your heart whispers, maybe I'm just meant to live like this. Maybe I'll never be okay again. But stop right here and listen. This pain you're carrying, it's not proof that you're weak. It's not a punishment. It's not a sign that you're doomed to suffer forever. This pain is a lesson, a deep, soul-level lesson that Allah wants to place inside you. It's not the kind of lesson you learn in a day, not the kind that comes from reading a book or hearing advice. It's the kind of lesson that gets carved into your heart, through hardship, through heartbreak, through patience. Because some of the most important things your soul needs to learn can only be taught by pain. This pain teaches you how to talk to Allah in ways you never did before. It teaches you to depend on Him, not people. It shows you how to break and still get back up. It makes you more soft, more compassionate, more real, and that's why it feels like it's taking so long to go away. Because it's not just an emotion. It's not just a wound. It's a transformation. And transformations take time. The deeper the pain, the deeper the change. And the deeper the change, the more powerful the healing. You may not see it now, but there's a version of you being built through this pain. A version that prays with full presence, that loves with more care, that values silence, sabr, and sujud like never before. This isn't about getting over it. It's about growing through it. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to act strong when you're not. You just have to allow Allah to work through the pain with you. One silent tear, one whispered dua at a time. And one day, when you've come out the other side, when your heart beats with more peace than panic, you'll look back and understand that pain wasn't endless. It was eternal, not in the sense that it stayed forever, but in the way it changed your soul forever. Because now, you walk slower, you speak kinder, you notice Allah in the small moments. And your faith? It's no longer just something you say, it's something you feel. This is what eternal lessons do. So if you're still in the middle of the pain, still crying in secret, still asking when the relief will come, know this: you are not weak for hurting. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not stuck in this forever. You are becoming. And one day, your story will be someone else's survival guide. So don't rush your healing. Honor it, sit with it, and know Allah is not wasting a single moment of your pain. 7. You're tired of being good to people who hurt you. But what if Allah is using your kindness to write a better ending? You've been kind over and over again, even when people misunderstood you, even when they took advantage of your silence, even when they talked about you behind your back after you helped them, even when you were the only one giving and they just kept taking. And now you're tired, not just physically, but emotionally. Tired of being the one who always forgives. Tired of being the one who still shows up, even when others leave you behind. Tired of staying soft in a world that keeps trying to harden your heart. And deep down, a thought crosses your heart. Maybe I'm too soft. Maybe being kind isn't worth it anymore. Maybe next time I shouldn't care so much. But wait, don't shut your heart just yet, because that kindness you carry, that softness, that's not weakness. That's a rare gift from Allah, and He sees every single time it hurt you to stay good, and you chose to be good anyway. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was the kindest of people. He was mocked, rejected, betrayed, but he still forgave, still prayed for his enemies, still loved his ummah with a heart that never stopped giving. And you, in your own quiet, private way, you're walking that same path. You're not weak for being kind. You're strong for not letting this world turn you cruel. Yes, some people used you. Yes, they didn't appreciate you. Yes, they left without even saying thank you. But do you know what else happened? The angels recorded every moment you stayed silent for the sake of Allah. Every time you swallowed your pride. Every time you gave when you had every reason to hold back. Every time you cried in secret, not because you wanted revenge, but because you were trying so hard to keep your heart clean. Those moments didn't go unnoticed. They reached the One who sees all, and not one of them will go to waste. Because while people may have forgotten your kindness, Allah didn't, and He never will. Maybe the people you loved didn't value you. But what if your patience with them was the reason your dua will be answered? What if your silence when you could have fought back is the reason Allah raises you on the day of judgment? What if, all this time, Allah was using your kindness to write a better ending? You see, sometimes Allah doesn't give you justice through the people who hurt you. He gives it through replacing them with those who will love you right, who will understand you without explanation, who will give you the kind of loyalty you used to beg for from the wrong ones. But in order to receive that, you had to stay pure, you had to stay kind, you had to trust that Allah would take care of what your heart couldn't fix. So don't regret your kindness, don't regret your loyalty. Don't regret being the person who kept choosing love even when it wasn't returned, because Allah loves that about you, and He will never let you walk away empty-handed. There's a better ending being written for you, and every test you went through in silence, every tear you cried that no one saw, it's all ink for the most beautiful chapter that's still coming. So hold on to your softness. Hold on to your patience, and know this, you didn't lose, you planted seeds. And Allah, Al-Latif, the most subtle, is preparing a garden for you that this world could never take away. 8. You think you're forgotten, but Allah has been preparing a moment that will change everything. There are moments when you just feel invisible, like no one sees how hard you're trying, like no one truly understands what you're carrying. You smile in public, but inside, you're drained. You do what you're supposed to do. You pray, you show up, you stay kind. but deep inside a small voice whispers, "Does any of this even matter? Does anyone even notice me? Has Allah forgotten me?" Because the silence feels too long, the waiting feels too heavy, the pain feels too personal, and you look at your life, and it just doesn't look like the one you imagined. You thought you'd be somewhere else by now, further, happier, more settled, but instead you feel stuck, behind, empty, and it hurts. It hurts to keep showing up with no sign that things will change. It hurts to feel like the one who's always strong for everyone else, but has no one to lean on when they fall apart. But here's the truth that no one around you might say: you are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not alone. Allah hasn't overlooked you. He hasn't ignored your prayers. He hasn't left you behind. He's just preparing a moment, a single moment, that will change everything. And that moment, it's not random. It's already written, already scheduled, already planned with more love and precision than you can imagine. Because Allah doesn't work with delays. He works with perfect timing. You think nothing is happening, but everything is happening in secret. The doors you thought were closed forever, they're being rearranged behind the scenes. The peace you've been craving, it's already on its way, just not in the form you expected. Because Allah doesn't give you what you imagine, He gives you what your soul needs. Even when your mind can't see it yet, maybe you needed to be broken so He could rebuild you stronger. Maybe you needed to be lonely so you'd finally feel close to Him. Maybe you needed to go unnoticed by people so you could be fully seen by the one who never stops watching over you. And when that moment comes, the one Allah has been preparing just for you, you'll forget the nights you cried. Not because they weren't painful, but because the joy that arrives will be so deep, so healing, so perfect, that you'll whisper, "Ya Allah, it was worth it." Every tear, every delay, every silent prayer, it was worth it. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Prepared for a moment where everything changes, where the pain makes sense, where the silence is replaced with sujood full of gratitude, where the wait ends in a way that only Allah could orchestrate. So hold on a little longer. Cry if you have to. Pray even if your voice shakes. Rest if you're tired, but don't give up. Because Allah's plan for you is not small. It's not random, and it's not done yet. He hasn't forgotten you. He's just writing a story, your story, that will remind the world what it looks like when Allah chooses someone with a silent heart and a loud dua. And when that moment arrives, you'll look back and realize the waiting was never empty, the pain was never wasted, and you were never forgotten. You were just being loved in a way you didn't understand yet. So if you're walking through the delay, the silence, the pain, just know it's not what you think. You're not being punished. You're being rewritten. You're being chosen. And what's coming will make sense of every moment you thought was wasted. Don't give up now. Your miracle is just being perfected behind the scenes.